Disney and animated movie fans are some of the most passionate fans out there. So passionate, in fact, that some of them have completely dissected their favorite ones and come up with some pretty crazy fan concoctions and theories about them. So prepare to have your mind blown with the 7 craziest Disney and animated movie fan theories right here on Listed. Let's break down the craziest fan theories of them all, kicking off the list with the theory that Sid became a garbage man to save toys. In the first Toy Story movie, Sid was an evil kid who would torture toys, and later in the film, the toys get back at him by coming to life in front of him and totally creeping him out. Not only did they creep him out, but some fans think Sid later became a garbage man, as we see in Toy Story 3, in order to save discarded toys. If this one's true, hopefully Sid's actually repairing the toys rather than turning them into terrifying hybrids. Next up, it's the theory that Peter Pan is really an angel and Neverland is heaven. It sounds pretty dark, but some fans believe that rather than being a boy with magical flying powers, Peter Pan is actually an angel whose job is to help take children who've died to Neverland, aka heaven. The children never grow up there because they've passed away and thus can't get any older. As depressing as it is, it kind of makes sense and definitely makes you think twice about your childhood dream of being sprinkled with fairy dust by Tinkerbell. Next on our list, some fans are convinced that Aladdin is set in the way distant future. There's a bit of evidence to back this theory up. In the movie, Genie says that Aladdin's clothes are so 3rd century, and he also complains about being trapped in the bottle for 10,000 years. By this timeline, Aladdin takes place in a long distant future where things we assume are magic are really just discarded technological advances of the past, such as flying carpet machines and genetically engineered parrots that can talk and form meaningful relationships with supervillains. It's a crazy theory, but at least it explains how Genie can make impressions of modern-day actors like Jack Nicholson. Next up is the super sad theory that Marlin is going through the stages of grief in Finding Nemo. Grab the tissues for this theory, because fans of this one believe that the entire Finding Nemo plot is an allegory for a father and husband, aka Marlin the fish, going through the stages of grief after his wife and children are murdered by a predatory fish. The stages of grief are as follows: Marlin denying letting Nemo go to school, his anger over Nemo being unsafe, his bargaining by putting up with Dory to find his son, his despair after seeing his son flushed down the drain, and finally, Marlin's acceptance and moving on from his past. Also supporting this theory is the fact that Nemo translates to no one in Latin. All that being said, I refuse to accept this theory because it's just too dang sad. And what about Finding Dory? Hello? Next up is the uber cool and totally plausible theory that Elsa and Anna's parents are actually Tarzan's parents too. Thanks to some curious fans on Reddit, this theory may have actually been confirmed by the producers of Frozen themselves. When asked if Elsa and Anna's parents died in their shipwreck, the producers explained that the Arendelle King and Queen didn't die in the shipwreck, but actually escaped to an island, had a son, and were killed by a leopard. Perhaps they were only joking with this response, but we'll just choose to believe that Tarzan is Elsa and Anna's little bro because that's way more fun. Next on our list, it's the theory that Andy's mom is actually Emily, aka the original owner of the Jessie cowgirl doll. In Toy Story 2, we meet Woody's gal pal Jessie, who gives an entire backstory on being loved by a little girl named Emily, who eventually left her behind after she grew up and entered the real world. In the flashbacks, Emily is wearing a red cowboy hat, the same hat that Andy always wore when playing around with Woody and his other toys. We never hear what Andy's mom's name is in the films, so she could very well be little Emily all grown up. If this one is true, those Pixar producers and writers are even more genius than we thought. And last but not least, be our guest in believing the theory that Jane from Tarzan is the granddaughter of Belle and the Beast. This theory came from some very smart Tumblr users who noticed how similar Jane looks to Belle, right down to her yellow dress, and their storylines run pretty parallel, with Belle falling in love with the Beast and Jane falling in love with Tarzan, who's kind of beast-like thanks to the fact that he was raised by gorillas. If those points aren't enough to get you behind this theory, then just look at the purple, white, and gold tea set Jane has that looks identical to Mrs. Potts from Beauty and the Beast. I mean, that's clearly more than just a coincidence, right? Well done, Tumblr. So that's our list. Now, I want to know which Disney or animated film theory blew your mind the most, and do you have any fun fan theories of your own? Sound off in the comments, and after that, click right over here to check out the craziest pop culture theories from the internet. Thanks so much for hanging out with me right here on Listed. I'm your girl Tiffany Taylor, and I'll catch you later.